Good afternoon. This meeting of the Community Development Board is called to order on October 15th. Welcome, everyone. If everyone could please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good afternoon. This board consists of 7 members and 1 alternate who are appointed by the City Council and serve voluntarily. I am Michael Butskas, and I will ask the other members and the staff to introduce themselves, beginning on my left.
Mary Lau. Elizabeth Sanskoy.
Brian Barker.
Jay Daniel, attorney for the board.
Ellen Crandall, Planning and Development.
Regina Clayton, Planning and Development.
Michael Foligno, Assistant City Attorney.
John Quattrocchi. Chris Anaskevich.
Please remember to turn off your cell phones so they do not become a distraction during the meeting. Please also refrain from having conversations in this room so that we might hear all the testimony given today. To ensure a complete record of this board's actions, we ask that each individual wishing to speak, including the applicant, speak into the microphone at the podium in front of us and clearly state your name and spell your last name for the clerk. Now I'll ask all those in attendance today who plan to speak to please rise and be sworn by the clerk.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give is the entire truth? Yes.
Thank you. Agendas of today's meeting are on the podium to your left near the entry door. Also on this podium are a roster of the Community Development Board, the list of city staff experts and their resumes, the board's rules of procedure, and the annual schedule of this board. Our first order of business today is approval of the minutes from last month's meeting. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is citizens to be heard. It is for anybody who's here today to speak to an item that is not on the agenda. Is there anybody today wishing to speak on an item not on today's agenda? There being none, we'll move on to our consent agenda. This board has adopted a consent agenda format, and the consent items are identified as such on the agenda. Consent agenda items are those items for which the Planning and Development Department recommends approval, and the applicant is in agreement with any proposed conditions, and no written objections to the case have been received to date. Items may be removed from the consent agenda today by a member of the board, a member of the staff, or any person in the audience for questions or objections. I'll read each item on the consent agenda items, and if any person wishes to remove this item from the consent agenda, please so state or raise your hand, and we'll remove it from the consent agenda. Items removed from the consent agenda will be heard in the regular order of the meeting. Items that remain on the consent agenda will be approved with a single vote. So let me go through the agenda on our items for today. Item number 1 on the consent agenda is Hup Retail GTB LLC. It's case number FLD 2017-08015 and FLD 2019-07022 at 2337 to 2347 Gulf to Bay Boulevard. Is a level 2 application reviewing proposed 11,037 square foot vehicle service office use in the commercial district. Does anybody wish to have this item removed from the consent agenda today? There being none, next item on our consent agenda is case FLD 2019-07021 at 801 Chestnut Street, 806 Turner Street, 808 Turner Street, and 810 Turner Street. The owner is FT Clearwater LLC. It's a level 2 application, and their request is to review a proposed 70-unit attached dwelling property. Does anybody wish to have this case removed from the consent agenda? There being none, the third item on our consent agenda today is amendment to Beach by Design Special Area Plan. The applicant is the City of Clearwater Parks and Recreation Department, and the request is to review proposals to amend a Beach by Design, a preliminary design for Clearwater Beach and Design guidelines. Does anybody wish to have this item removed from the consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I have some questions on this. I would like to remove it.
Okay, so item 3 will be removed. All right. May I have a motion for items 1 and 2 on the consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve items 1 and 2 on today's consent agenda based on evidence in the record, including the applications and the staff reports, and hereby adopt the findings of fact and conclusions of law stated in the staff reports with conditions of approval as listed, including with respect to case FLD 2019-07021, the conditions cited in Mr. Nurnberger's memo of October 15, 2019.
Okay. Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Items 1 and 2 are approved by consent. Thank you very much. The next item for today is our level 3 case. All level 3 cases, such as plan amendment, rezoning, or development agreement, are considered legislative hearings. The Community Development Board reviews the application, the staff report, correspondence, and all evidence presented today, and makes a recommendation to the City Council. For level 3 applications, the City Council makes the final decision. The procedure for all level 3 cases is as follows. Presentation by planning staff, 10-minute maximum. Presentation by applicant, 10-minute maximum. Comments by the public, 3 minutes per person. Closing remarks by the planning department and development staff, 3 minutes maximum. Closing remarks by the applicant, 3 minutes maximum. And closing of the public hearing, discussion, and vote by the board. Our level 3 case for today is, again, the amendment to Beach by Design Special Area Plan. Good afternoon, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Fine, thanks. Did you have specific questions? Did you want me to do the presentation, or since you asked to be removed?
I don't think I need to see the presentation. I just have a couple specific questions.
Okay, in that case, we have Kevin Dunbar here, our Parks and Recreation Department Director. I probably believe he'd be able to answer those questions a little bit better than I would, so.
Okay,
I'll let
very
him
well.
come on up and answer them.
Good afternoon, I'm Kevin Dunbar, Director of Parks and Recreation.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So I have two specific questions, and one of them is a recommendation. So I see on the proposed tree plantings, we've taken out some trees and we've left some date palms, and there was another palm tree, it was a Bismarck palm. I do have concern with those two specific palms only being used. We have a breakout in the state right now of lethal bronzing, so it's affecting a lot of those palms. So I would recommend that perhaps the city consider including a royal palm in addition to that, so we don't just have two palms that are very susceptible to lethal bronzing.
Yeah, kind of the background is that we've, through work that we've done on Beach Walk, work we've done in Pier 60 Park, as well as now we've completed the Papaya Street Plaza, is to try to develop consistency with amongst what we have. And so that's why those two were identified, because those are the two that we're using in those applications.
Okay, I see. Was it discussed that we have a breakout of lethal bronzing?
Oh, we're very much aware.
Okay.
Yeah, we deal with that on a daily basis.
I understand. Okay. So if that's been discussed and that's the way the city would like to proceed, I can understand that. Although I would recommend having a third tree. The other question I had is, I noticed that on the setback requirements, we have an 18-foot setback near the boardwalk and on the rear buildings for this corridor, and then in the front there's a 15-foot setback from the street. I noticed this area is very narrow in areas, certain portions of that corridor, and has it been looked at to make sure that any proposed buildings or redevelopment sites will not be impacted by those setbacks?
Yeah, it has, and in fact, one of the things that we attempted to do was to get out in front of the curve, if you will, before things started, and that's why we built the Papaya Street Plaza, so people could actually see what it is that's being developed, but then also to lay out so that anybody who was going to take advantage of the program and develop the property would have all the information before they even got started and knew what would be there. We went through great pains to make sure that we impacted the properties as least as possible, but wanted to make sure that they tied in and that they were all ADA accessible.
Okay, very well. Those are the only questions I have. Thank you.
Okay.
Anybody else have any other questions of Mr. Dunbar or staff? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have any other questions on this? I know we have a format in place, but since you kind of got that abbreviated version, there being none, I'll close the public comment on this, and we would then have, obviously, opportunity for a motion and a vote, unless the city has any closing comments or remarks. Didn't think so. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd be happy to make a motion.
Okay.
I move to recommend approval of case number 3,
Okay.
this item, based on findings of fact, conclusions of law, and the staff report.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Does the director have any items? No. There being none, thank you all for being here this afternoon.
Yeah.
You just also have another record.
Yeah, I know. I was a little worried about it.